Today is my third session with Michael Myers. He has been here almost a month since he murdered his sister. Hello, Michael. How are you doing today? Michael has been unresponsive since the murder. Almost as if his vocal cords have been in some kind of permanent comatose, whereas the rest of his body works completely fine. I'm fascinated by this. Michael is only 11 years old, and yet he seems to have no remorse for such a horrific action, one that even most adults wouldn't even think of doing. Or perhaps Michael simply does not want to talk about his family. I actually find that understandable. His family they weren't exactly a happy home. We have reason to believe that the man in the house at the time was not exactly Michael's father. However, his entire life he was told that he was. His mother apparently lied to cover up an alleged affair. However, that's all we know. Michael, if this is making you uncomfortable, I'm sorry, I will stop. There's something I do want to talk about, however. What happened today? I believe another doctor gave you a crayon, one to help you draw a picture of what you are feeling. We never got that crayon back, and last week we saw another patient, one of 21 years of age, with that crayon in his eye. Michael, what happened? Miss Voorhees has agreed to spend a few months in this institution. Until she gets back on her feet. To the best of my knowledge, she has not committed any crimes. I would ask her how she is, but with her current mental state, I believe that is a foolish question. We have not met before. Hello, Pamela. My name is Dr. Hannibal Lecter. To the best of your knowledge, can you tell me what happened to your son, Jason? He drowned. Or at least that's what they told me. They never found his body, though. He could still be out there. Right? He could still be out there. Pamela, I truly do hate to be the one to tell you this, but in situations of grief, specifically the grief of a child, the mother will often create delusions. In your case, the very understandable delusion that you believe that your son is still alive. Judging by what the police have told me, no one could have survived that. I'm sorry. But I want to truly understand what this grief has done to you. You say you dropped him off at a camp for his birthday. What was this camp like? It was a normal summer camp. Woods, cabins, just nice view of the lake. Jason spent most of his life in hospital. He was born with a few disorders. He was finally let out of the hospital when he was 10, and for his 11th birthday, I thought I'd take him out, see the world. If only I knew what a mistake that was. I'm starting to wish that he could have stayed in the hospital, where he was safe. They told me that he would be safe there, but no, those quote-unquote highly responsible counselors, they weren't paying attention to him. No, they were having sex, weren't they? They say it's something all humans do, a drive. specifically as adolescents, but your son suffered because of it. They could say it was just... humans just have urges, yes, but... no, your son suffered because of that. He died because of that. Forgive me, Pamela, my reaction was completely unprofessional, but... I see no justice in this. I see that perhaps the counselors who were committing this action, I think that they should be charged with dangerous neglect. But of course, no. They always say, don't you remember being a teenager, being like that? No, I do not. I was never like that. I find it disgusting that a child suffered because of that. Forgive me, Pamela. I'm your doctor. I should have more professional reactions. This is your session, not mine. My apologies. No, Dr. Lecter. I think you're completely right. My son, Jason, he should not have suffered because two teenagers wanted to make love, and they chose that was more important than his safety. I think you're completely right, Doctor. I think they should have been charged. Dr. Frederick Chilton in the care of Dr. Jack Griffin. Originally, Griffin was meant to be Hannibal Lecter's patient. However, Dr. Lecter went on a murderous rampage himself twice and is currently in the care of this very institution, so I will be taking care of Dr. Griffin. Hello, Jack. How are you feeling today? Miserable! A man of my power should not be chained up in a cage like some dumb animal, talking to some simpleton. I command you release me, Chilton. Many doctors have informed me that recording our conversation may not be the best idea. However, Griffin has a very unique case. To the best of my understanding, Dr. Griffin invented some serum to turn his body completely invisible. However, that very serum gave him unforeseen side effects. Those side effects are mostly mental. Ah, yes, the serum. I suppose you had to say that into the tapes, so that you could get your fame. Your name in the sky, on covers of books, Dr. Frederick Chilton, the man who cured the Invisible Man. Integrated me back into society. You just want the fame. Dr. Griffin, do you really accept that name? The Invisible Man. Isn't that just what newspaper headlines call you? When the world hears the name The Invisible Man, they think of a serial killer. I don't truly think you are some serial killer, Dr. Griffin. I believe that you are a deeply intelligent man. A very respectable man. However, this monocaine, the specific drug mixed in with your chemicals that I believe to be causing your mental dysfunction, I believe it is to blame. But I don't blame many people. To be fair, when we found you, all we saw was a floating knife. We had to check infrared scanners in Dr. Kemp's cell. We found out that you framed him for that murder. What happened with you and your former lab assistant, Dr. Kemp? What made you want to murder him? What made you want to murder anyone? I must say, when I killed Kemp, I was honestly impressed that you managed to find me so quickly. When Kemp told his psychiatrist of an invisible man, I was under the impression that you wouldn't believe it. Guess that shows how much the Monocanes had an effect on my brain. But I suppose that is the world we live in. After Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, isn't Invisible Man really that far of a stretch? Anyway, I will feed your ego, Chilton. I shall provide you with answers. I killed Kemp because he got in the way. Framing him wasn't enough. He needed to die. He tried to turn me into the police. I couldn't go to prison. I couldn't go to a mental institution. My plan was too great. You see, what happened to me was a complete accident. I believe that it wasn't an accident, that I was selected to be invisible. And I had this plan. If I could just create the antidote, I could replicate the serum, create armies of invisible agents. Thinking of the fame, the money, the world would be mine. I could have a better world. Imagine it. World hunger solved, cures for cancers, and no war, because we could sneak into any organization without them even seeing us. The American army would be unstoppable. However, Kemp tried to put a stop to that. He claimed that just because I murdered a few people, it wasn't worth changing the world. However, Chilton, you might understand. Think of it like cracking a few eggs to make an omelette. I understand that the Monocane's affecting your brain, and I understand that you murdered people. Though your mission, it does sound important to you. I believe that the Monocane is creating delusions. And those delusions make you think that you need to do this. That and your unique ability of invisibility. I believe that you're truly a complicated man. I think we're beyond rehabilitation at this point. You are. I don't want to say beyond help, as that is grossly unprofessional, but you get the idea, Dr. Griffin. I think you should stay here for an extended period of time. When you show me that you can be released, then I may consider it. Just you wait, Chilton. This institution can't hold me forever. It's barely been able to hold me now. And when I am free, you will be the next to feel the wrath of my plan. You should be regretting it. Regretting that you won't get to see a peaceful world. Until then, see you at our next session, I suppose.